Hello, and welcome to Wraith The Oblivion, Echoes of New York, Episode 2, What We Leave Behind. Before I introduce these lovely and alternatively terrible people here in front of me, I want to tell you all a few things about Wraith The Oblivion. This is a very dark and intense game. A lot of difficult emotions and difficult situations come up that might be difficult to watch at times. We here on the cast have our own safety tools in place that, you know, if something becomes a bit too much, we can let each other know. If that happens, if I get the signal, we're going to just stop abruptly and change subjects. So if it ever seems like in the middle of something, I'm like, so then you guys leave, you will understand somebody has given me the high sign. But yes, this all of the World of Darkness games are storytelling games of personal horror, Wraith especially so, because each of these wonderful people before us are not playing one character, they are playing two. Each of them has their own wraith they are playing, literally a ghost, a human with unfinished business that has kept them tethered to the Shadowlands and unable to move on. But they are also playing someone else's shadow. What the shadow is, if you're familiar with Vampire the Masquerade, is how kindred have the beast. And the beast comes up and at times is aggravating, is irritable, is hostile, is cajoling, but you can appease the beast by feeding it. You can reason with it. You can give into it. And in some circumstances, such as those on the path of Golconda, become one with it. The shadow's not like that. The shadow is not a hostile passenger or idle observer. The shadow is you, literally you. It is everything you've ever done. It is every mistake you ever made. It is everything that you are not proud of. And it is made manifest, and it will be with you to the end of eternity. And the shadow wants one thing and one thing only, for you to suffer because you fucking deserve it. For these beautiful people, when they are playing someone else's shadow, we will have visual cues of what's going on to let both you watching and everyone playing know that it is currently the shadow speaking. If you would, please all show us your shadows. Lights, mask, lights. So when that happens, you will know that it is not the same character speaking. It is instead the shadow. Now, with that out of the way, I will, you can introduce yourselves, who you are playing and whose shadow you will be. And this time we will go in the reverse order that we went last week, starting with Nora.
Hi everyone, I'm Nora Ibrahim and I am playing Marguerite in this game, and I am also playing Emily's character, Josephine's shadow.
I will say to you all, normally if you watch, I don't drink when I'm DMing because I have a lot to keep track of, but I was telling them, I was like, y'all, after last week, I gotta have a little something with me here for this ride.
We broke V-Dave.
Yo, you know, need a little liquid courage here. Mason?
Yeah, so everybody, my name is Mason Dula. Tonight I'm playing Oliver Swift, and I am kind of a rich inventor guy, but I'm dead now, so I'm also playing the shadow of one Joseph Beckwith that is Justice's shadow.
Excellent. Justice, we care about you deeply, but we care more about the passenger on your lap there. Who is this latest addition between this week and last?
This is Little Miss Lima Bean, and she is currently passed out.
Wow.
So we'll just try not to disturb her and hope we don't have any potty breaks in the middle.
Well, that was the last sweet thing to happen tonight, I assure you. And yes, Justice.
Hi, I'm Justice. I am playing Joseph Beckwith the Third. He's just an innocent little child that lost his way long ago. And I'm also playing the shadow of a certain Pilgrim Age potential mass murderer Cordelia.
I mean, who among us has not occasionally committed mass murder, correct? You know,
You got to get it out of your system. every
Not
once in a while.
Mason. He's the only one I'm sure of.
don't be. You don't know how that guy died. Diana.
Hi guys, I'm Diana D'Amico. Tonight I am playing Cornelia Baker, a bitchy pilgrim. I am also going to be playing Miss Marguerite's shadow. Forgive me, Nora. I know not what I do.
Do your worst.
That was one thing I said afterwards. I was like, as terrible as you all were to each other in this first episode, as you get to know the characters better, and like, it's just going to be that much worse. And last, but certainly not least, Emily.
Hi, everyone. I am Emily. I am playing the character of Miss Josephine Rose Winifred Beckwith. And I am also playing the shadow for our new friend, Ollie Swift.
Perfect. Last week was a lot to summarize. If by chance you haven't seen it, you still can join us tonight, but I highly recommend you go back and watch it. But here were the bullet points. Mr. Ollie Swift did wake up in a place called Hart Island in New York. Hart Island is a place where the unclaimed and the unidentified dead are interred, and has been since the 1860s. It is a place where the dead go to be forgotten. While he was there, he made the acquaintance of a beautiful woman wandering along the island by the name of Marguerite, who extended to him an invitation to come and be a part of her circle. Because as one of the things that Ollie first realized is just how dangerous life in the Shadowlands can be, as he saw some fresh souls attacked by strange, horrific creatures known as Malthians that were physically converting them into some sort of material that they were taking that was difficult to explain. And your circle is your best defense against being modified in such a way or transitioned into a form of currency known as oubli, or 1,000 other terrible things that can happen to you. And so she introduced this man to her circle. To call them friends or to call them family would be strong, but a group of wraiths that look out for each other, including a young brother and sister that are just the most idyllic and cherubic of youth. And a stern and upstanding woman from the distant past, from the earliest frontier of America. In the process of getting to know each other, you all came across a being of supreme power, an incredible mystery and mischief in the form of the Shadow Man, who simply said he was just interested in seeing what happened and really just wanted to watch what you were all going to do, and gave Marguerite a planchette from a Ouija board, in artifact, a relic, probably from the early 20th century spiritualism movement, that was very well made, metal, carved with letters and numbers, and he gave her no other explanation other than this. As you all set out across the city, ostensibly to try and find Oliver's tower, his real tower that he owned in life, but apparently had been consumed by a gargantuan tower that stood in the middle of the necropolis of New York, you all came across a scene of a man that apparently had been the unfortunate victim of a hit and run. And as he lay in the road dying, the aforementioned wonderfully cherubic children assisted him in pointing him in the direct opposite direction from his unfinished business, leading him down an alleyway where he befell a similar fate to those poor unfortunate souls that Ollie had witnessed mere moments before. Although time passes here in the Shadowlands, it is always very difficult to quantify what was this morning, what is tonight. Was it 10 minutes ago? Was it an hour? Who can say? During this process, Marguerite was approached by a woman with long white hair and sunken eyes and hollowed out cheeks, who clearly looked like a human being who had been just incredibly ill in life. And while speaking to Marguerite, noting the fact that she possesses some form of fame, or at least notoriety, in the Shadowlands, her eyes fell upon Oliver as well, who she was very surprised to see in the Shadowlands, because over in the Meatlands, where the quick live, the humans, the living, you're missing, and you are wanted for having stolen a lot of money from a lot of people. And as she looked upon you in shock, eyes wide and agape, looking at Marguerite, saying, "Oh, he doesn't know that here on the streets of the necropolis of New York City, it's twisted reflection in the Shadowlands. We rejoin our circle." He doesn't know.
I think you might be confused. I give away things. I don't steal things. You must have the wrong guy.
Oh no, I would know that bone structure anywhere. You're Oliver Swift.
Well, that is yes. That is yep. That is unsettling. Yes, I am. I'm gonna lean to Marguerite. It's like, do you know who this crazy person is?
What do you have to say, dear Shadow?
What have you given? What have you ever given anyone?
Well, I like to think a good bit, but I suppose I could have done a little more. I don't think that means I should be here.
Marguerite, yeah.
What does she mean he doesn't know?
It's just I don't mean to be rude, Marguerite, especially not to someone of your stature, but the afterlife is long and my bed is so uncomfortable. If I just had a couple more oobly to,
You want a payout?
You could make her tell you, You're capable.
She's so frail, though.
She's not as frail as she looks. You know as well as I do that this is an act. Come on, what's one more bad deed among many?
It wouldn't be right, and she's... How hard is it for me to fight this?
You hear what you hear, And she very much is like rambling while the Shadow's speaking to, I don't mean to be rude, but knowledge is power, and it's rare that I have someone of your motioning to both of you statures.
You know that this place would be better off without her, don't you? No use crying over spilled milk if it benefits you in the end.
And I look at the old woman and say, if you're so concerned about my stature, then you will tell me this information. I owe you nothing.
How are you intending to compel her? Are you intimidating her, persuading her, or using one of your supernatural abilities on her?
Is intimation, is that something? Is that a...
Let us take a look. Now, again, dear viewer. This is a new game to all of them, and although I have played Wraith, I do not have the encyclopedic knowledge of this system that I have of some of the others. So this is your intimation power. You want to know if there's something you can do to her here?
Yeah. What exactly does that do?
I'm going to tell you. Intimation is basically, it is a way of manipulating wraiths. You can discover what they really, really want. It is, in vampire parlance, it is closest to presence, where you mess with their feelings and mess with their emotions.
Okay.
So yes, theoretically, it is possible to use that power against her.
So using that, I'll add to that, to in addition to what I said, I will say someone such as yourself, it wouldn't be wise for you to get on my bad side, knowing my stature. And how dare you come to me looking for a bribe? You know very well you're just going to tell me because it would be better for you if you did.
Roll for me your manipulation plus intimation.
Storyteller.
Yes.
May I follow up her intimation with honeyed tongue as her shadow?
You absolutely can. That is an interesting relationship that the Wraith and the Shadow have. While yes, your Shadow ultimately wants you to suffer, it is very capable of being constructive in the short term, especially if they're helping you do something terrible. They are more than capable of actually assisting you. Roll for your honey tongue also there, please, dear Shadow. And give me your manipulation and intimation there, Marguerite.
Five successes.
Excellent.
Mine just happens.
What, sorry?
Mine just happens. I spend an angst and it happens.
Perfect. And what specifically does your honey tongue do for you?
So the shadow can spend a temporary angst trait to engage a target in a social challenge. If successful, I guess it is a social role, isn't it? If successful, the next sentence the shadow speaks will be believed by the target.
Perfect. For the rest of you standing there, again, here on the streets of this sullen, gray, literal shadow of New York City, you all see Marguerite turn and look at this woman, equal parts beauty and ferocity. And as she's standing there looking at her, you see her eyes look a little bit darker, and a small breeze lifts her hair off of her shoulders. And the woman just says, you are, of course, correct. I apologize. I must have been speaking out of desperation. It was my shadow, you know. On occasion, he just like takes over and makes me say things I really don't mean. Of course, I would never seek to elicit payment from one such as you, or a new arrival to the Shadowlands such as yourself.
So are you admitting to lying about me?
Oh no, that part is true. I had just popped over to the Meatlands earlier. Please don't tell anyone, we're not supposed to. And I was watching on CNN. It was on a loop. They were talking about the fact that you embezzled billions of dollars from your company and apparently had fled to Aruba.
I have never been to Aruba, but I admit I don't remember much before I got here.
She creeps very close to you and she's like, I realize you are a fresh arrival, but a man of your genius. It will clearly be influential in no time. You will, of course, remember your humble servant once you have found your way, yes?
Destroy this pitiful mess. She's a
He
waste.
will tell us at any point if I find you and I ask you of anything, you will do as we say, or we tell people that you've been into these meatlands.
Is it, yes. I apologize. I'm sad to see you dead, sir, but happy to have found you here. And she very much starts like walking backwards, like with her hands up.
I'm going to turn to Marguerite. Well, if that didn't open a whole can of worms, what is the Meatlands that she and is that? Can we go to the living world? Why are we here?
Ollie, when you say, can we go to the living world? Why are we here? Is you look around, you sort of swear you could hear the honks of New York City cabs and the clicks of footprints. And as you sort of allow your eyes to defocus, you can just make out people walking along the sidewalks, but it is like they're separated from you by a thick, dirty glass. All of the rest of you, those of you that live here and this is where you reside, know exactly what this is. This is the shroud that separates the Shadowlands from the mortal world. It is possible to cross over both through certain mystical abilities or at places where the shroud is thin, usually places like cemeteries or very haunted places. But what she said is true. It is against the law that the hierarchy enforces for you to do so.
We're never too far away.
Well, ain't that some shit? Why can't we? Who's in charge? Why can't we go?
Did you see all the trouble that happened on the way over here? This is a dangerous place. There's consequences.
Is it ever worth it? Because I mean, if I could go back, I feel like there's.
You could get back in there. You could finish. You're so close.
I mean, if I got back, there's a lot of good that I could do.
Well, I can't say. I certainly can't stop you if you really wanted to, but just know that there are consequences for those kind of actions. It's dangerous.
Master Beckwith, Joseph Beckwith, since we have two Master Beckwiths, I suppose. What is young Joseph doing during all of this exchange?
Well, we just ran the biker down down the alley, and then I would be coming back. And Ollie, Mr. Ollie, was that peasant woman bothering you? You really shouldn't put up with that. We certainly don't. We don't deal with the lesser classes, do we, Joey?
Never.
It's hard to deal with the lesser classes when there are no classes lower than you, Mr. Beckwith. I think you should let Ollie decide who he wants to talk to.
Oh, I'm sorry. Who? Oh, are you still here, Cornelia?
You will refer to me as Miss Baker. We've been over this 1,000 times.
Certainly will not. Joey, tell her we don't have to listen to anything she says.
Josephine.
We. Come on, Joseph.
Carefully, young girl.
I just grab Joseph's hand and pull him away from Cornelia. So Joseph and I have this very creepy looking kind of hand game that we play. You know, this kind of thing, but it's It's very slow and strangely methodical and looks like we're speaking a private language with our hands when we do it. So I basically pull him away and start like initiating the game to just like leave this conversation.
And what does the shadow have to say about that?
You're just going to let her speak to you like that? Do you think anyone in your household as children was allowed to speak to you that way? And here, when she addresses you, you have nothing to say. You just stutter and cower in fear. Oh, I'm so disappointed in you.
Well, I always did what Nanny said. I always did it.
Did you? Come on, you can't fool me. You can't play that good girl routine. Come on now. I know everything you've done.
Well, I always did what she said, but I never necessarily stopped doing what she told me not to do.
Pitiful.
As you all, Joseph, as you begin your private communication with your sister, you see her face sort of fall.
Joey,
I will assume that what you all are saying is you're essentially communicating through your own language that you've had over a century to perfect.
Joey, keep your mind on the game. Remember, you can't miss concentration. What's going on with you?
Everything feels weird since this new person showed up.
I don't like him. I can't place him in a class. I don't like it when I can't do that. Everything has its proper place. That's what Father always said.
Joseph, I told you, we know, but we don't always have to give that away.
You don't like him because he's better than you. But you know, I can help you grow stronger. If you just let me.
He's not better than me. Mama said I was the best boy, and I deserved the best, and some young wizard, whatever they call him with their gadgets, isn't gonna move in here and better than me. He's not better than me.
You keep telling yourself that. Nobody
You
else
shut up.
is.
Stop it.
Joseph,
Joey, you're talking again. You're
Joseph.
telling me what?
It's your turn to snap out of it. Listen, focus on the game, Joseph.
Right, yes.
Focus on me. Listen. It's the game. Remember, we know what's going on. Ollie does not know what's going on. We can play with him.
Right.
That's
You're
right.
right.
Order him around.
Just like the biker.
Just like the biker.
You always know what to say.
I know.
You don't.
I would also like to note, I think I already stole from Emily last session, but this is a new session, and I'm going to vampiric touch her again while they're sitting there having their good time.
So explain what it is that your vampiric touch does again for everyone.
So as the shadow, I can, whenever they come in physical contact, I basically roll his willpower, and she would roll her own. And whoever has the most successes, well, the more successes I have than her, hopefully, which is a positive number, I steal that amount of angst from her shadow, and I get to have it. It's his shadow. There's like 4 characters in play here.
Yes. I mean, this kind of peaked last session when you actually did it to yourself, when you were both the attacker and the defender. Yeah. Emily, you just super went out of focus for some reason. It's your angst being drained. That's what it is. Like we're watching it happen.
It's the fog.
The way this works, by the way, for you all, the shadows have their own powers, and they have their own reservoir of power that is known as angst. His character has the ability to drain it from others to make himself stronger at the risk of making someone else's shadow weaker. Another thing, the main characters, the wraiths, never know how much the angst their shadow has. You are never aware of the power of your adversary until they wield it against you. But yes, what is it that she needs to roll to defend against this?
I got 3 successes.
But what is her counter roll? Straight willpower?
Oh, just willpower against however much she has against what I have, or what he has.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Again, gets complicated.
Yeah.
That's 4 successes.
Damn.
Four. How many did you get?
I got 3, so she's in the clear.
I will say to Joey's shadow, you're absolutely aware he did it. You all have been at this a long time. You know. Or at least you know he tried.
Right. We can play a game. I think he wants to get somewhere, and we could help him in our own special way.
Our own special way, yes.
I do love the new meat. They're so stupid.
Remember, Joseph,
Yes, yes.
focus. Play the game. They can't know how stupid you think they are.
That's right, Joey. That's right. We always have to. We are better than them, but we don't have to tell them we're better than them.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
But you
I
do
forgot again.
anyway?
Well, this is they're still sign languaging this to each other.
Oh,
Here.
okay. I figured I was just standing nearby listening.
I will say,
Awful.
there's like you're like I'm standing right here. Yeah, no. Although Cornelia, you are aware that they just broke off and essentially started playing this creepy patty cake in the middle of the standing on the sidewalk. As now, oh, go ahead.
Do they do this often?
Do you do it, Ovia?
Yeah.
Well,
It's real
Cornelius
creepy.
probably asked you guys to stop and not play games like this before. I'm willing to reckon. So after a few moments and they're doing their patty cake game, she's going to come over and grab them both by their ears. I have told you to. This is not proper behavior for young children.
Oh, I have told you before, you don't touch me, Colia. And I would like to excise her.
Okay, that sounds pleasant.
Yes.
What does that entail?
Remove a want from its target. Remove an ordinary desire. The player spends 2 pathos and rolls manipulation and intimidation.
Okay.
So
Does she have a defense?
nope. The number of successes determines the complexity and strength of desire excise can move.
All right, well, let's go ahead and roll it. Bare minimum, you're going to get her to not want to grab a hold of you anymore, but let's see what the dice have to say. For the record, this is Wraith 20th edition. This is not a homebrew like we did a werewolf, although we have slightly modified it just to make it a little easier.
You have to find all my right things then. Just a second.
I was about to say we made it to episode 2 without any PvP, but in a manner of speaking, we made it about 40 seconds without any PvP.
That is 3 successes.
So 3 successes is moderate. What desire are you trying to take from her?
The desire to correct children to proper behavior.
Oh, good luck.
You know, Cornelia, you've wasted enough of today on these two. It's, you know, you won't give them the satisfaction of seeing you be flustered. If they wish to behave like wildling street urchins, that is just simply no reflection upon you.
She'll drop the ears and free the children.
When she
And
touched
probably
the ears, can I vampiric touch her?
Roll it, yeah. Although,
What do I roll to stop him?
your willpower.
Oh, fuck that.
Although I feel like your shadow wants to have a word with you as well.
Shit. I only got one.
You're going to let that child speak to you that way? He didn't even use your name. You've already given up. You've given up on anybody knowing who you are if you aren't going to stop this brat.
He's not worth the trouble.
That's what you always say. Cordelia, give up and go away.
I think you know quite well what I'm capable of. Showing this little brat.
But the world never will.
They'll know.
Keep telling yourself that. But you've already given up.
I haven't given up. You wouldn't keep trying if I had given up.
What was that willpower there, Cornelia?
3.
It's,
Not doing good tonight.
Suck it, Shadow.
okay. As you all are still standing there, having had this various information laid upon you, Marguerite, what does Marguerite look like? Is she the type of woman that is she carrying a purse? Like, where would she have this planchette that she was given?
She's a very sophisticated woman. So I think she's very neatly dressed, very beautiful. She would be very elegant, and yes, she would have some sort of purse that she would carry on her.
You feel it seems like it's vibrating slightly, just a little.
Didn't know I had it on silent. I will reach in and hold it in my hand.
As you open your purse and you look inside, you're a woman of means. You have a couple of oubli in your purse as well. Again, oubli are the currency of the Shadowlands and of Stygia beyond. They are incredibly valuable because a once living soul goes into the construction of each one of these coins. So even to possess one is the ultimate extravagance. Of all the things I could have done with this soul, I chose to cash it in. However, unfortunately, there are strange side effects to these things on occasion. Sometimes they move. They often moan. And as you open your purse thinking, surely that must be what it is, it's the coins reacting again, you notice a very faint hum coming from this planchette, almost like somebody hit it with a tuning fork. It feels like, but very slight.
I'll just holding it closer, seeing, like, just to make sure that it is coming from, I'll hold it to my ear.
Mm-hmm. It is, and all of you see her do this. And once she pulls it out of her purse, you even can hear this very faint ringing.
I don't understand what.
What is it?
What is?
Who is it? Who is it?
Answer it.
It's answer it. It's not. It's
Give it here.
It's not saying anything. No, I will not give it to you. Green.
Someone's trying to contact you.
Yes, but I don't know. I don't know what it means.
Yes, you do.
That's a thing. Objects can just ring, and you can be called from anything.
It's not. It's not. It's not. I don't hear a voice. It's just humming. I don't know. I don't know what this means.
Try stabbing someone with it.
Honestly,
He has a point.
no, he doesn't.
Sure he does. It'll at least prove that you belong here.
I am not going to stab somebody with this. I don't even know what it does, what it means, or why it's important to me.
Right.
That's a
it's more
really good way to find out what a thing does. Just stab someone with it.
Yeah.
I will not.
Marguerite, or any of you observing this, honestly, can give me your wits in either enigmas or occult.
Ooh. Let me see.
Pathetic, too.
Do we do anything with criticals on this? I'm sorry. Okay.
Normally, they explode. We said we weren't going to do the explode anymore. I think we'll, just for the sake of ease and familiarity, we'll do like with the other, with V5, where every 2 tens will count as 4. In the old game, if you got a 10, you re-rolled it. But if you got a 1, you subtracted successes from every 1. So things got big quickly.
storyteller.
Yes.
Is the planchette reflective? It's metal, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. It is. It's shiny. It's polished.
I'm going to go ahead and activate mirror.
Which you is activating mirror? Cornelia or the shadow?
The shadow.
Excellent. You clearly have your light on. I was looking at the PDF to read something at the
I
time.
missed it before, you know? So
what does that do?
what that does is when Marguerite looks down at the planchette to kind of observe it better, when she catches a glimpse of her reflection, she is going to show up distorted in a form of my choosing. And I choose to show her decomposing in sort of a fearful expression like she would have when she just died, but like rotting and sort of decaying, forgotten.
Do I have to roll anything against that, or does it just happen?
You know, you don't get to do anything. It just sort of happens.
Many of the Thorn's powers. Yeah. You all, I keep describing Marguerite is beautiful, but her beauty, it borders on the supernatural. Like she always has like an easy grace. And you notice there's times when she gets upset or very happy, she is transcendent in her appearance. Marguerite, you've become very familiar with this in your day-to-day life. And yet as you were holding this thing to your ear thinking, I don't, and you look at it, that is what you see.
What is it? Is it terrible?
Nothing. It's nothing.
Margaret,
I want to see it.
No,
That's what you really are, my dear.
it's not. It's not.
Don't you wonder what happened to you?
Yes, of course I wonder what happened to me.
Why no one looked for you the way they're looking for Ollie?
Of course people looked for me. Why wouldn't they look for me?
Why would they?
What do you mean, why would they? I'm a woman of respectability.
No, dear. Without your looks, you're nothing. You
That
don't
is
even
not-
have those anymore.
That is not true.
You keep
That is
telling-
not true. I mean, I was respected in my life, and I'm even respected here. So no.
Take a good
No.
look, dear. Take a good look.
No. You're wrong.
Are you okay?
It's nothing. I was just I was just startled for a second. I'm fine. I'm fine.
Is it dangerous, like the children said? You moved awfully fast there.
I don't. I will hand it to Cornelia and for her to take a look. I don't know. It's just
Why does
I
she
just
get to look at it?
because you have dirty hands. And I will.
It's all true. It's all true. They're filthy. They're objectively awful. It's true.
You do have dirty hands. Yes.
No, I don't. Don't say that. I wash my hands sometimes.
Cornelia.
Ever shut up.
Cornelia.
Yes, dear.
As you are looking at this, do you possess occult or enigmas?
Oh, I'm super occulty.
Give me your wits and occult.
That was when I rolled it before. It was 5-6.
Okay, perfect. I'll take that now. Cornelia, as you're looking at this, you know what this is. It was done differently in your day. But there was old Maggie that lived out in the woods outside of the settlement. She was the diviner. You all were, of course, God-fearing Christians, Puritans of the strongest sort. But on occasion, having the access to a soothsayer was useful when trying to predict the crop yields or the sex of a risky birth that was coming. And so you spent time looking over her shoulder on occasion. In just maybe you'd heard her commune with spirits on occasion. Purely in the process of performing exorcisms in the name of the Lord, of course. But as you are holding this, you realize this ringing is not simply from the object itself. Yes, it is bound to her somehow. She is connected to it. It is a fetter to her, a connection to her previous life. But this ringing is not from its own innate power. Its ringing is someone else is looking for this, and it is calling out to them.
Marguerite, would anyone be searching for you for this?
Well, I would hope so.
Oh.
I don't see why anybody wouldn't be looking for me. Or at least I hope they'd be looking for me.
Well, this is a tool used to commune with spirits, and you no one knows you're here.
I wouldn't know that. I don't remember much, to be honest.
I don't get the sense that that this is a good thing. I suggest you get rid of it at once.
But maybe whoever is trying to look for me, if they were using that, then they know I'm here. And then maybe they can get me out.
Get you out where? How? For what purpose? You're dead. We're all dead.
Joey.
I said that.
Yes, but maybe somebody's looking for me.
Joey and Josephine, give me your wits and awareness. As these two are bickering over this toy that stupid Shadow Man didn't even think to bring one for you. And this new boy, Ollie, seems like he is already chasing the two of them around like a lost puppy. I just appreciate the two spoiled, entitled kids genuinely just don't give a fuck. By the way, I'm like, roll. You're like, we don't care. Josephine, I will say, although you do not notice with two, an odd shiver goes up your spine. obviously a certain amount of discomfort is existence in the Shadowlands. This is a place of cold and death. Of course, by definition, to be here is to wish with your most ardent soul to be somewhere else. To be bound to this world is to be in a place of incompletion. So of course, there's very little joy to be had. And yet, something is not right, especially not right, even for somewhere like this.
Joseph, do you feel that?
I don't. Why won't they let me play with it? I want to play with it. What do you feel?
I don't think we should play with it.
You don't?
But if we make sure they play with it, something fun might happen.
Oh. I could try and steal it, and then we could put it in Ollie's pocket.
I love that idea.
We gotta wait till she puts it back in her purse, and I'll see if I can nick it, just like I used to on the ship.
Are you going to let him do that?
If you spent more time doing rather than talking incessantly, you wouldn't have been drowned by that old man or woman. Or did they strangle you? I don't know. But they had to shut you up somehow, didn't they?
No, it had to be an accident. They wouldn't have done it on purpose. They knew I was better than them.
No. They knew you were filth.
Not filth.
Your sister was an accident. You were on purpose.
No, that's not true. And if it were true, that's why I've made their lives miserable.
Joseph, it's happening again. Joseph.
I'm sorry. He's talking again. He's talking.
Tell him to shut up.
Shut up.
Don't let him have all the glory, Josephine. I'm sure you can be the pickpocketer. You should take it.
No. This is the plan. I distract. He takes it. It's a perfectly good plan. There's no reason to go toss it out the window.
Always letting him have the glory.
No, you don't understand. I get the glory. When he steals it, he puts it in Ollie's pocket, and then I get to watch.
That's it. That's all you get to do. All you get to do is watch while he gets everything.
We share. We share this victory.
You keep telling yourself that.
Cornelia.
Yes.
While you are holding this thing in your hands, sort of thinking about the old ways, how things used to be, how poorly they treated you, how masterful you played all of them, and that incessant twinge of how, after all these time, has still no one figured it out. You feel something strange start to sprinkle down on you. Like, at first, it's almost like bits of hail? No. Sand? Glass. Ground glass is falling out of the sky onto your head. Like sand from an hourglass. Not quite that strong just yet. It's not like a deluge, but it very...
What is happening right now? had enough of this. This is not what I'm doing here. I deserve better than this.
In the sky over her, in the perpetual gloom of the necropolis of New York, you all notice a swirling mass start to form of wind and dust and tears and broken things that you all, except for you, Ollie, you recognize it simply as something objectively terrible. The rest of you know exactly what this is, and your shadows know exactly what this is. This is a specter. This is what waits for each and every one of you when you finally give up, when you finally give in, when you admit to yourself exactly what you fucking are. This is what becomes of you. But at this moment, it is simply terrifying. What have you got there? Give it to me. And you all see this thing slowly descending from just over your heads.
What am I looking at?
You should run. Run, coward. Run before it destroys you. Before it destroys us. Leave these others behind and run.
At the same time that he says that, I do grab his hand.
Take it that's not good.
Can I vampiric touch him?
Of course you can vampiric touch him.
And that one came off my sheet. I accidentally deleted it. So, hey, Mason, what do I roll for that?
Willpower. It's not your willpower, but
your host's willpower.
Your host's willpower.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
You're right.
Cool.
Again, another interesting mechanic here is the Spectre knows how much willpower the Wraith has, because as their willpower wears down, you can affect them more. The Wraith never knows how much angst the Spectre has. So as their power levels are alternating here, no one knows.
I got 0, by the way. So
I got 3.
So you get 3 of the angst from Emily.
Cool.
Oh, well, three of the angst from Emily's shadow. Yes.
Yeah, from Emily's shadow. That's what I mean. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which is only good for me, Oliver. So this is perfect.
Wait, she gets my angst?
No, the target. So because when you, Marguerite, touched Oliver, your shadow stole angst from Oliver. So your Marguerite shadow is getting stronger.
Gotcha. Okay. It's all very confusing at times, but
it is a lot to keep track of. Yes.
Okay.
Again, especially like Mason last week doing it to himself. So,
that was crazy.
Yeah. However, you have this thing in the broken glass you feel, Cornelia, as you look up, is just coming off of this thing as this swirl of detritus is whipping all around it, and the clouds themselves are swirling as it very much is descending towards the ground, looking straight at you, Cornelia, actually not looking at you, looking at the planchette you carry.
I will go ahead and activate my Wings of Rage.
And what does that look like when that happens?
Yeah, it's kind of a cool thing. So the actual book text, I shit you not, is sometimes a spook needs to get there right now. So Wings of Rage starts its speed and strength, born of desperation. So basically, I just become like super athletic to the point where I can do things that are completely impossible.
You nope out, basically.
Yeah.
What do your wings look like when they come out?
So they extend first sort of like smoke, and then eventually you see they sort of start to burn like embers. So there's sort of a coal effect on them, but they continue to emit smoke as they're there. Kind of like a building to the ground. Go figure.
You know, whether or not any of these soft, privileged hedonists of the modern day know, is there a pattern to the smoke signals that you're sending up if someone were able to read them, Cornelia?
It probably says something along the lines of SOS, send help.
It is by a wonder of timing in tiny puppy bladders that your shadow is not here to antagonize you during this. But you know what? We didn't take a break last week because everything was so crazy and intense, but I think it's relevant that if you're about to run for your life, that your shadow should be a part of this. So let's just take a quick 8-minute break here. And we'll jump back in. I know it's a little bit early, but I don't want him to miss this. So you guys don't go anywhere. And we'll be back in 8 minutes.
It's a break.
So before we get back to this, we have to check in with the most important thing. Is Lima being okay?
She is great. She is staring intently at my microphone. You say hi to everybody?
I heard it. I heard it. There was.
All right.
I heard it. You're officially part of the pack.
You're Insta famous.
So.
She's in the circle.
Hashtag Dogs of the Oblivion. Yeah. So, Cornelia has deployed her wings to escape as a catastrophic evacuation measure that I wanted to make sure her shadow knew she was doing. The rest of you, again, maybe not you, Ollie, have been around her long enough to know that she is about to run and leave you all as you see this thing descending from the sky, staring very intently at the planchette in your hand. Again, it is a swirling mass of smoke and wind and pollution and tears and broken glass. And what you feel falling on you is the sparkling particulate of destruction and decay that is just simply raining out of it as it's coming down from the sky.
Miss Baker?
Child, I suggest you get out of here.
Are you leaving us?
Yes.
Run before you destroy us both.
I smell fear. Good.
Run, coward. Run like you always do. Save our skins.
I do not run away. You know that. I'll sort of push myself backwards and up a little bit, so I'm more of on an even plane with the specter. And
do you still have the planchette in your hand while you do this? Perfect.
You have no business here.
Out of this swirling mass, you see red eyes form and the hint of a mouth that is curled down at the edges. My business is what I say it is. Look at you. Old, bitter, afraid. You would do well with us. I tell you, Give me that, and I will take you to a place where you will be adored.
I'm very used to monsters making promises and breaking them. Be gone.
For the rest of you, you're looking, this is maybe 15 feet in the air over you, and you realize the remaining scattered masses that were, again, kind of jovially looking at the guy who just got hit by a car, scatter. Like, when this thing comes out of the sky, everybody looks up and is like, oh no. It's like everybody, but essentially you all, are heading in all directions right now.
Everyone else ran. Should we run, or is the crazy pilgrim lady onto something?
I'm not going to run if she still has the punch yet. I'm not running.
Okay. What can I do? Literally, I don't know what I can do.
Storyteller, quick question.
Yes, Gentleman Shadow.
If a specter
With an extra monocle.
if a specter gets a hold of a psyche, is it Dunsky, or would this actually help the shadow if should the shadow be leading her towards the specter or away from it, I guess is.
So, to clarify, theoretically, the shadows all want their wraiths to end up like this. They do not want your wraith to just get eaten by this thing.
Okay. Cool.
So it could be either. It's not lying. There are communities of specters. I mean, it could take you to a place that is like the Spectre family jamboree that is objectively awful. It's probably not gonna, though.
That's going to be episode 3.
Yeah,
Spectre Family Jamboree.
I mean, I gave away the ending. Yeah, what have I done? So, in broad strokes, this is an aspirational state to the shadows, but this creature is incredibly dangerous, and you would know it. Your shadow's reaction of leave before it kills us both is very valid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Joey, I don't like it.
Oh, yeah.
Let's give it Ollie.
Excuse me?
Yes. You're new.
Yeah, eat him.
Take
We'll
Ollie.
go.
When you say that, it does stop and look right down at you, Oliver, and say, I can smell sunshine, fresh grass, brewed coffee, the lingering perfume of a stolen kiss. Come, boy. I am the ending. I am eternity. Don't waste time.
Don't listen.
with
Don't listen.
these
Don't listen.
fools.
Don't listen.
Come, help me. Take that from her, and I will show you true power. And when he says true power, Oliver, around you, you start hearing rips, like in that dull, thick glass between you and the meatlands begins to fracture and crack, and you can see it. You can see the street. You can clearly see a New York City street. So much so, a woman is sort of walking by and turns and looks right at you all. But she doesn't seem like she sees you, but she very clearly goes like, oh, and like hurries away from the tear.
I still have Ollie's hand, and I'll squeeze his hand tighter as this happens.
All of you see that tear, by the way, open up and see into New York. Yeah.
There it is. Your unfinished work. It's right through that door.
Don't you want to go back? Don't you want to go home? Help me fresh meat, and you might survive this.
I would like to obliviate the specter.
What does that entail?
It's basically allowing my shadow to go nuclear. Yeah. So distilling their anger into a raw destructive energy, the Wraith unleashes it in a crushing, burning spasm of entropy.
Does it have any way to defend against this?
I'm looking right now.
And surely this must have an ensuing cost.
Yeah, I spend 3 pathos to do it.
So pathos are the currency of wraith, similar to blood pool or rage. And it is a limited pool. Spending this many is no small thing. Yes, Marguerite, I feel like you're about to say something.
I just a question for the storyteller. Would Marguerite realize that if we go into this realm, would Ollie be able to go with his technology that he spoke of, be able to find out that information that I was seeking? Is this something that I would secretly want to happen?
Maybe. If he is to cross over into the Meatlands, again, that would theoretically be illegal, and you theoretically would suffer certain consequences were it found out. But when he crosses over, what he would be is a ghost in the very traditional sense. Remember, the hallmarks of the world of darkness is all of these supernatural realities are real. So what we think of as poltergeists, ghosts, possessions, things of that nature are wraiths of varying powers doing varying things. So the answer is it would become, it's a definite maybe.
So I'll whisper to Ollie, like, whatever happens, don't leave me.
I wouldn't dream of it.
So that obliviate. Mm-hmm. You tell me what it looks like as this thing is actively looking down, trying to seduce Oliver into turning on you like all the rest of them turned on you, Cornelia.
So Cornelia is a frail woman. She does not look like she has any strength or willpower or anything. So she's going to be sort of eye level with this specter. And as the specter is looking down at Ollie and trying to tear open this hole in the fabric of reality, she's just going to sort of extend her hand very gently, actually. And like a shock wave is going to come out of my fingertips and hit the specter for 4 points of aggravated damage.
I will say, just as an aside, this power is incredibly devastating. Mortals killed in this way become wraiths. Wraiths killed in this way become specters. Specters killed in this way are returned to the oblivion from whence they came. As the shadow is unleashed, fed by this, what does it do?
Yes. I didn't know you had it in you, Cornelia. Who needs to run and hide when we can face the terrors head on? Dive into it. Destroy it. Follow it back to where it came. Let's join the specters. You have the power. You've never exhibited this before.
By the unleashing of this power, yes, you do in fact gain 3 temporary angst, Shadow. But as you all see this thing looking down at Oliver, and Cornelia extends her hand and her eyes widen with just chilling hatred. No, you are a coward. You will. And you watch it starts to break apart and unravel as more chunks of the floating debris and detritus start to fall apart, as it begins to rip apart. And it looks at you and just says, you want to escape any of this? I'll be waiting for you. And it is gone.
Is the tear still there? Damn it.
I'll sort of slowly come back down and just...
As you float back down, Cornelia, you hear, oh, shit! Yes! Yes! And you notice a couple of the people that had ran had just sort of taken cover and kind of start popping up again, because New Yorkers are New Yorkers, even in the Shadowlands. And they're just like, yo! Did you see what Pilgrim Pride did to that motherfucker?
My name is Cornelia.
Cornelia stands.
Cornelia, what is your name, mama, so I can make sure everybody knows it?
Cornelia Baker.
Cornelia Baker. Man, we ain't gonna forget that shit. God damn, man. Yes.
I would like to interject as the shadow.
Don't let her have anything. Don't let her have anything.
And I would like to use Trick of the Light.
Which does what?
I subtly alter the psyche's perception of the scene. And I just have to burn one little old temporary angst.
Oh my god.
It's so cold. She can't have one moment. It's perfect.
I want it noted. I take off my engagement ring while we play this game.
I'm not gonna lie. I saw that you didn't have it on earlier. I was like, man, no holds barred. How do you make her perceive the scene instead?
Instead of clapping and cheering, it's mocking her. Oh, Pilgrim Pride. Yeah. Cornelia Baker. Yeah, we're all going to remember that. Like,
that is fucking flawless. That is monstrous and flawless. Cornelia, despite all of this, they are mocking you and booing you. Oh, I guess that must have just been the tiniest baby of a shadow. No specter would have gone down that easily. Just nothing but a little doppelganger or a shade, I suppose. It looks so scary, but if she bested it, must have been nothing.
I told you no one will remember who you are. Kill them. Spend it again. Burn more. Burn them all to the ground.
Stop it!
No. Fire. Fire at all of them.
The rest of you,
alleviate them all.
The rest of you see these people cheering in the streets, and you just watch her face get darker and darker and darker while they do.
Goodness, you would. I say this to Tali, like, goodness, you would think that she would, at least have a little moment of happiness.
Marguerite, take this stupid trinket.
Obliviate them.
She can't be happy. I don't think it's in her nature.
You hear how they talk to you? Obliviate them all.
Is Marguerite still holding my hand?
Yes.
I'm gonna hold it because Oliver's totally into it, and he's gonna and he's completely still terrified from this creature that just flew down from the sky. He's gonna kind of subtly try and, like, just out of the corner of his eye, reach out his other hand and try and do what he just saw Cornelia do.
Trying to obliviate something?
Yeah, he's just like a little piece of garbage or something, just like.
Okay, all right. Yes, Shadow.
You are precious. Just precious. Thinking you have time for any of this. Doesn't that hand burn in yours? Don't you feel the sting? You don't have time for this.
mean, I never did before, but I mean, I am dead now.
Oh, yeah. I just give up. Just give up and live here in this bizarre oblivion.
There is too much left undone. I can't give up yet.
That's my boy.
I'm going to glance back at where the rip was and just kind of... Cornelia, are you okay?
Let go.
Yes,
Let go of the hand. Let go of the hand.
I'm all right. Are you two quite finished carrying on?
Let go of the hand.
I don't know what you mean, but thank you for not handing over that planchette.
Just take it. I don't know why you wanted it so badly, but
Chest.
Well, it's important to me, so thank you. I appreciate that you protected it for my sake.
Let go of the hand.
you don't need to mock me. Just take it.
I'm not mocking you. I'm thanking you. I don't understand why you're so hostile.
Give her the
And I have to take it back from him.
Stab her with it.
Cornelia's going to take a few paces away from the group, and probably just start praying. Actually, just start trying to calm herself down by reciting the Lord's Prayer.
You still cling to those old beliefs. Do you not see where you are? Look around, you fool. The only thing that ever got you before was ostracized.
I do not need you.
I am you, fool.
You would have had me run.
Yes, and your name wouldn't have been dragged through the mud once again, but you stayed and you fought because you thought you could accomplish something.
It doesn't matter. I did what needed to be done. I stopped the specter. I saved the trinket. We can move on.
And you gained no respect, only ridicule.
They will know who I am eventually.
You lie to yourself with your prayers and your recitations of empty words.
They're not empty. They mean something to me.
Right. Just like the same words and prayers that your neighbors spewed forth from their vile lips.
Well, they paid, didn't they?
That they did. And look where it got you.
You are muted, Dave. Or just not coming through. One of the two. We can't hear you.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
You're not muted, but
I
I
had
couldn't.
hardware muted while I took a drink. I'm like, no, I'm not. Wait, like everything is awful. I said, I believe Marguerite's shadow was going to say something there before Cornelia was approached.
What would your husband say if he saw you standing here holding the hand of a man you just met? Do you suppose he knew?
My husband. How much am I remembering of my husband? Storyteller.
I leave that up to you. You're not clear on how you died or the exact method by which you've been returned to this place, but I leave it up to you what you know of Marguerite's life.
I did get married, didn't I?
Yes, and he knew what a monster you were too. This just proves it.
Let go.
I have a husband?
Let go.
I have a husband.
Let go.
Not anymore, you don't.
Seeing that she's kind of stiffened, and not Ollie not understanding how the shadows work, he's going to kind of look at her and listening to the voice in my head, he's going to kind of, sorry.
Maybe he doesn't want you now.
I know that's probably uncouth of me.
No, it was nothing. It was just in the moment. It's fine. It's fine.
Don't lie. It wasn't nothing. It was a mistake. Another mistake. Another one to add to your long, long list.
It was nothing. There's nothing wrong with...
You can hold my hand, Ollie.
I will take a rain check. Thank you.
It's just a reaction.
No, and honestly, I would have just about every second that I've been here been lost without you so far. So genuinely, thank you.
Can we go play a new game?
Honestly, Josephine.
I'm getting bored of this one.
Yes, let's play a new game.
We should get out of here.
But...
Ollie, tell us
Is
all
that-
about this building of yours. We'd love to see it.
Well, yeah, it was in a general that way direction and side whatever that thing is. It's it really is something.
Let's go see it. You're
We
so
should go
proud of it.
investigate. We should go, yes.
We should go see it.
I mean, if you think it's
You knew a way, you said, to find out about this and to find out with technology, you called it.
well, yeah, with modern day technology and the large wealth of resources I have or had in my disposal, it shouldn't be much to find out what we need. But
Lead the way then.
I'm going to kind of look up. I'll certainly try.
Marguerite, you notice when you do take the planchette back from Cornelia, it is no longer ringing.
So strange. I still being apprehensive from what I saw in the reflection, I will put it away without trying not to look at it further.
No
When
one's
she does
looking
that-
for you anymore.
It's not true. It's not true. Why wouldn't anybody be looking for me? Obviously somebody was looking for me, if this has anything to do with it. It's proof. It's proof somebody was looking for me.
It's proof that someone wanted to make sure you were gone, dear.
No.
The only
wrong.
thing they care about is that you won't be coming back.
It's not true. It's not true at all. I'm important to people. I've done everything right in my life. I've done everything everybody's ever said of me.
Of course you were, dear. Of course you were. But now, here, with these folks, you're nothing but a slut with a trinket.
That's not true. That's not true. I'm important here, and I was important in my life, and there are people who love me, and there are people who are looking for me, and it's not true. It's not true.
Joseph, you saw what Cornelia did. How does that make you feel, you pathetic weakling? You know I can help you.
I don't need your help. I've gotten along just fine without it.
Oh, yes. Is that what we're calling it? Just fine. When did they change the definitions of words? Surely it must have been some time after you've been dead. Joseph, I'm here. I want to be your friend if you will just let me.
Like, What sort of thing could you teach me?
Well, you saw what she did. We could do that. We could do so much more.
You could teach me how to blow people up?
Yes. Yes, I could.
That does sound awfully fun. No, I won't. I'll talk to Joey about it. I'll ask her.
Right, because you want her to have the power, do you? Have another leg up on you, make you look pathetic again.
No, if I had that, I could show her some really cool stuff.
You could. When you decide to get your mumbling self in line, you pull your head out of your ass, you come and you talk to me, and we will get the real fun underway.
You shouldn't say dirty words.
You know where to find me.
As you all presumably start making your way through New York, again, Oliver, it is an odd reflection of the city, especially now that you have eyes to see it. You can sort of squint and try and see over into the meatlands. You can see people sitting outside of cafes, walking their dogs, beating up people in alleys and committing every manner of human atrocity as you walk by, as New York is opened up before you in a way that it never was in your mortal life, and yet it has also never been farther away. Yes, Joseph, did you have a question?
Just as we start walking away, I would... let me hold your hand, Marguerite. And I'll reach out and attempt to pickpocket the
planchette?
Planchette from her.
Let me double check the skills here. I believe, so yeah, there is no sleight of hand. Let me see what that would be.
I've got larceny with a specialty in pickpocket.
If you got larceny would cover it. Yep. Dex and larceny.
While he does that, since he's touching you, Nora, could you also roll your willpower for me?
I knew he was gonna do it, but I gotta be true to Joseph.
All right. I'm just to note, like, I don't willingly just take this grubby little kid's hand. So I am apprehensive. Like, he's in our circle, but y'all are mischievous, and it's not like it hasn't gone completely out of my... I don't know how quickly.
That's not true. I do not abide mischief.
Here's what I'll give you. You do not automatically touch him. I will give you your wits and awareness against his larceny to see if you notice, because he very much comes towards you like a snotty-faced child that wants a hug.
Yeah.
Yes, Josephine?
I want to say that if I see this happening, I engage in my duty of trying to distract her.
So how are you going to do that, Josephine? How are you going to assist in the grift here?
I want to literally spring forward and grab both of Marguerite's hands and kind of spin her around toward me and be like, "We're going to the tower. We're going to the tower." Like, just
okay,
absolutely
so,
but I will, as her shadow. I will use bad luck on that. So let's...
You know,
I don't know. This is layered. I don't know how you want to approach this, Peter.
The freaking order of operations here, man. And this is perfect. You know, she wants to help her brother. You do not want anything. You don't ever want her to be happy. So I believe bad luck takes a certain number of successes away, correct?
It makes you re-roll.
Okay.
Yeah, it makes you re-roll.
So,
but I will start with Marguerite's successes. We could start with that. Or no?
make a note of that because you rolled it. We're going to come back to it, but this is going to go in a slightly different order. So
You
make
got
a note because we'll come back to that in a second. So the first thing, because again, they did have a plan that she would distract you and then he would pick your pocket. So
Yes.
first thing, Dex and athletics to not let the other wildling touch you.
Okay.
And you roll as well, Josephine. However, your shadow is going to impart bad luck upon you, which, hang on here. And she will be able to force a re-roll of the die of your choice, up to and including possibly taking a crit away. So, first, Dex and Athletics, Josephine.
Oh.
Yeah, you. It's opposed Dex and Athletics, so it's for both of you. So, Marguerite.
Are we sure it's Dex and Athletics and not performance?
You said you were reaching out to touch someone who doesn't want to be touched. That's athletics. If you were just trying to like do the forbidden dance to distract her, maybe. But you said you wanted to reach out and touch her, and she does not want to be touched.
Well, that's one die that I get to roll, but it is one success.
Which the bad luck would force you to re-roll it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's a failure.
Joseph, does the shadow say anything at the time, by the way? Does Josephine's shadow say anything to her when she ruins this complete? Actually, let me tell you how it all plays out before the shadow says anything.
Okay.
You all have been running this grift for over a century now. And so you see your brother move into position. The sister moves into position. She reaches out and is like, oh, we're going on an adventure. And Marguerite, you know these filthy murderous urchins. And just sort of are like, what if we don't? And Josephine lunges forward and just pushes Joseph as he is in the midst of reaching out for your coin purse. So I'm going to have Joseph. You've already rolled for your pickpocket, but I'm going to say take away 3 dice. And if any of them would take any 3 successes away from whatever you got, as she very much ruins this for you. And when she ruins it, what does the shadow say?
She says, oh, Josephine, you will never succeed in anything in life. You are nothing without me. Don't you forget it.
I succeeded at the one thing that counted, and that was before I knew you.
Joseph.
Before you knew me, I am you. I know all about you. You will always be nothing. You've always been nothing. You've always been second fiddle to your brother, and he is the one that everyone truly loves. Not you. All you have is me. And even I don't like you.
Joseph, she steps forward and pushes you and ruins it.
I still got 2 successes.
How many did you get on your wits and awareness, Marguerite? He's super reaching for your purse. You don't know if he's reaching for the oobly. They are objectively very valuable, and he heard the moaning, but the planchette he's been fixated with. Either way, you very much catch him trying to put his hand in your pocketbook.
I will smack his dirty ass hand away as he tries to reach for it.
Joseph, you messed up.
I did not. You ran
messed
right
up.
into
No,
me.
This was all your fault. This is all you. You messed up.
What are the
It's not
two of
true
you
at all.
doing?
Greedy little children. No one's taught you any manners.
We know all the right manners. I know every single fork that you're supposed to use at the right time. I know all the manners.
You know all of them, but you are absolutely just horrible children.
You're a very rude lady.
Oh, I'm rude.
Yes.
You're the one that's tried to steal from me.
You just hit a child. I'm just a
Joseph?
little boy.
I was disciplining. There's a great difference. And I'll do it again if I see your grubby little hands grabbing for my purse.
Joey, you remember the last person that tried to discipline us. You know what happened to them.
Well, of course I do.
Does Joseph Shadow have anything to say to him in this moment?
I was just waiting for a second. Joseph,
I'd sure like to obliterate her.
You can. Right now.
The slappy one, too. They're real.
Well, I mean, I have what you need, but if you're not interested, then I'll perhaps just take it somewhere else.
No, you don't. Well, I didn't say I wasn't interested. I just, I need some time to think about it.
And in the meantime, you are humiliating both of us.
That wasn't me. That wasn't my fault. That was Joey. She tripped. She has the easy part. I had my hand on it. It was going to be my prezi. It was meant for me.
Well, maybe one day when you're caught up with your sister's skills, you'll be able to pull off something this simple. But until then, maybe you just stick with the running of the mouth. You seem to be best as a distraction.
It's not true. I got the quick hands. I got the captain's pocket watch.
Show me. Show me the quick hands.
Now get out of here. Get out of here. I don't need your gifts.
You will, and I'll be here.
Was someone going to say something? Don't.
I was just going to walk up to the children, both of them, and sort of lean down so I'm at eye level, and very quietly, just so that the two of them can hear me, say, if the two of you were my children, I would have smothered you in the crib. That was a sloppy attempt. If you're going to be clever, be clever. Otherwise, keep your damn hands to yourself.
If you had smothered your own children in the crib, maybe your life would have turned out better. Kill these insolent whelps. Obliterate them.
We have somewhere to be. Let's go. Don't waste any more time.
I turn on my heel and abruptly start storming toward what I understand to be Ollie's tower.
Joey, wait up. We're going to have a game. Just because one got ruined doesn't mean we can't have another. Joey.
As you all make your way through the streets of New York, I will say, just to give you just a benchmark of just how fucked up Wraith is, there is an entire class of specters that are children. I won't say anything other than that. Anyhow, as you all make your way through New York here, and you see things that are, again, familiar and close to you in a way that they never were before, and yet farther than they've ever been from you, Ollie. I apologize, my cord is tangled.
Oh no, it's Emily Ghost. She's trying to push you off the dock and strangle you.
It's true, there it is. I'm like, just allow me to know it was her the entire time. It's true. That's some Final Destination stuff. Curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal, Josephine. As you all make your way through, you come around the corner and you see something difficult to describe, Ollie. As you look over, you see what must have been Central Park, but it is different. It is teeming and overgrown with hundreds, possibly thousands of years of trees growing up towards the sky, twisted and gnarled. And there are legions of people, charitably, in the park walking around. Some of them look like they could have just been walking the streets of New York this morning, just like you. Some of them look like homeless people still wandering eternally, looking for one last fix. There is a jogger that runs by with webbed, bloodshot veins across his face and a ripped open shirt in the stains of defibrillator pads, marking his flesh forever as he perpetually runs his laps around Central Park. You also see people that are dressed pre-colonially. They are wearing hewn skirts made out of burlap and leather, entreated from the local game. And you see, in particular, Cornelia, they shoot you the coldest of stares, looking across at you in your puritanical garb, the face of the colonizers that would come and take everything from them. And they just stand there and stare at you as you all are walking past.
Move quickly.
Do you know those people?
You didn't get good marks in history, did you?
Well, I had assumed a couple 100 years in the afterlife might have... You know what? Yeah, let's keep going.
Important point of clarification. At any point along the way, did Cornelia put her wings away, or are they still calling for distress?
She would have put them down as soon as she thought people were laughing at her. She would have stopped drawing attention to herself immediately.
As you've walked again an indeterminate distance, the Shadowlands are non-Euclidean. The necropolis of New York City both perfectly mirrors New York and yet far transcends it. Millions, tens of millions of spirits live here because tens of millions of spirits have lived and died here. Far more than live in the Meatlands. And as you pass by, as these people stand there looking at you, you notice one of them turns their head and a fire starts to burn. And she looks at you and picks up a thatched mat and starts beating over the fire. And you all see her doing this as she just stares at her the entire time. And you see intermittent puffs of smoke come up that I would say Marguerite and Oliver comprehend are smoke signals. Even Joey and Josephine, although this was far before your time, you were properly educated, lord and lady, and were aware of this as a concept, but you have no idea what she's saying. You do, Cornelia. The first one says SOS, the same pattern that you were broadcasting. The second one is no.
We should move quickly.
Yeah,
Yes.
let's do that.
No,
Just trying
let's
to skirt
stay a
around
while. Let's obliterate a few more of these worthless souls.
I thought that you wanted to run away.
Oh, that was before I knew you were packing such power.
I have
Shoot
no
them.
quarrel with the individuals here.
They're calling for your destruction.
Good.
Just like they always did. You can still hear them, can't you? Feel the rocks hitting your flesh. harlot.
As you all make your way cautiously but quickly past the park, Oliver, you see something terrible just across the street from it. You see a tall, twisting, horrible thing. It would have been a building, maybe, but it is like it has been bent and turned like some sort of nightmarish H.R. Geiger sculpture. And through the windows, you all see hulking black shapes moving inside and can hear howling, crazed, maddening howling coming from this tower that stretch up into the mist. Those of you that live in the necropolis are aware there is a particular breed of lupines given into madness and corruption that live in that place. And sometimes they find their way even here into the Skinlands. And as the stories go, they are capable of not only destroying you, but enslaving you and binding you to objects, and draining their power and using it for their own.
Look, Ollie, that looks like a fun place to play.
Yeah, delightful. You should go check it out.
Yes, let's. It'll be a fun game.
Well, you see, Joseph,
Ollie, let's go play.
No, I'm an adult. It really looks more like a kid's place. So maybe you guys go check it out, and I'll wait for you here.
We can't go without supervision. Mama always said that we had to have proper supervision.
That would be wrong.
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess we don't get to go then.
But isn't that where you want to go?
Storyteller, I don't think that is where I want to go.
It is not your tower. It is just directly across the street from Central Park.
May I? Hold up. Stop that.
See, the Black Tower is transcendent and does appear in several realms. Yes, Marguerite, you were about to say something.
No. I was...
I would like to try something, just a little something. I just want to see if I can make Ollie want to go there with just a little bit of trying to find the power, just a little impulse. Just
what is his counter to this power? It is essentially this game's version of compel.
Yeah.
What does he do in order to defend himself?
Oh wait, exit that way.
And Oliver's shadow theoretically would be able to intervene as well if it so chose.
That's you, Emily. You should intervene.
No, I know.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Whether or not it can, I cannot believe you're. Is this not something, an ability that you possess?
I think I read it wrong. I can excise. Yeah, I can remove a want from its target, and I want to remove. No, never mind. I apologize. I was reading that wrong. It was another power that I was reading that I did not take.
Oh,
I can simply remove desires. I can't add desires.
No, I appreciate the fact that I'm like, hey, look, it's Hellraiser full of werewolves, and you're like, cool, send this fucker in. I'm like, you're not even the shadow. Why are you like this?
It'd be such a fun game.
You all are able to make your way past, cutting a wide berth along the Black Tower. And again, these native people in the park stare daggers at you the entire time, Cornelia, as you are walking by, but they do not pursue you. Although you do make out one last smoke signal as you go past, and it simply says revenge.
Does the smoke sort of linger?
Yes.
I'll pause for a moment, and in the smoke that's there, I'll just trace out the word Krakatoa and keep walking.
Oh, you think you're bad.
When you do this, Cornelia, one of the women standing there, her eyes widen and they never say a word. They never open their mouths. Immediately pulls a knife that she's got at her hip and comes towards you and just like stops right by the edge of the grass and just looks down at the edge of the grass right along the seam of the sidewalk and just looks up at you again with the knife and stands there.
I'll smile, slight curtsy, and turn and rejoin everyone.
And she turns and like storms back into the park, past the rest of them.
Well, you're really good at making friends, Cornelia.
You could be better at making friends, Ollie, if you did what we asked you to do.
Ollie,
That's right.
you'll learn very quickly that friends are not nearly so important here as being able to take care of yourself.
Well, hope I don't have to learn that.
You are. Right now, dear.
As you all skirt your way around this black tower, walking very cautiously, not to get too close to that building, but probably shouldn't go into Central Park right now. As you go past, it takes a moment for the maddening, clawing, howling of whatever is in that place to sort of stop echoing in your mind as you go past. And you make your way to Midtown, Oliver, where you see something that you never thought you would see again. Your street. And you think, okay, all right, almost home. And as you walk down, you turn the corner and look to the familiar lot where your tower should be, and it is gone. It is not there. A crater that goes down into the ground 4 or 5 stories. Past a certain point is difficult to say, but all the way down to the studs of the parking deck, it is simply not here.
Do I recognize? Does it? Can I tell? Has it been? Is it blown up? Like, what? Can I tell if something's happened, or is it just like it's literally been taken?
It's like it has literally been taken. The rest of you, Cornelia, Joseph, Josephine, and Marguerite, roll me your wits in Enigma or your wits plus occult.
Three.
Anybody beat 3? Still 0 again for Joseph.
We have 4.
4 and 4. What does Oliver say?
I don't understand. You guys said it would be. It should be right here, but it isn't. Where's my tower?
Marguerite, Josephine, and Cornelia, you are aware there is a place where lost things go. There is a place where destroyed things go, where ancient burned down ruined temples stand side by side with the Twin Towers. And that is at the heart of Stygia, deep in the spirit world. There is a way to get there. Where you are here, the Shadowlands, again, is the reflection of the mortal world. Literally, the shadow. You are just over from it. There are places, again, where the veil is thinner and endure. The shroud, rather, the veil is what the lupines refer to it as, where the shroud becomes thinner or weaker, and you might cross into the Meatlands. Stygia is very, very far away from the lands of the living.
Oliver, do you remember how we briefly saw a glimpse into the living world?
Yes.
Your tower exists in a place that's similar to how we can reach that world, but it's in a different place. It's a little harder to get to, but it's
It's a lot harder to get to, dear.
a lot harder to get to.
It wouldn't be a fun game.
Doesn't matter how hard it is, does it? You've got to get there. You know you've got to get there. You've done hard things before. How many degrees do you have?
When you say hard, you don't say impossible, which must mean it is doable.
That's the spirit.
No, not impossible, but it is very likely that you will not make it there.
She doesn't know you. She doesn't know what you're capable of.
I am plenty resourceful. I very much appreciate your concern. And if you're...
My dear, you are the equivalent of a newly born calf in this world. You are going to be slaughtered.
You don't understand. So much of my life's
Tell her,
work.
make her shut up. Make her shut up.
So much of my life's work is in that, and I can still make the world a better
Your
place.
life is over.
You're so close. You are so fucking close.
It doesn't matter now. No one here knows who you are or cares what you've done. I assure you of that.
We need to get there for Marguerite and her for the
Yes.
I don't.
It's
Didn't we
not
say we were going to the library?
I forgot we were going to see the lions.
we
We would never
don't
see
have
the
time for that, Joseph.
I wanted to see the lions. Now Ollie lost his tower, and we have to go on. I don't
You know,
want
if
to.
if you all are too afraid to go with me, I'll just go by myself. It's fine.
Oliver,
Great. Anything.
Oliver, give me your wits and awareness.
Okay.
Well, I suppose Joey, he goes off.
Alertness. So no, awareness, wits and awareness.
Okay.
He'll still die. The game will win.
We just have to think about winning the game. That's all.
At 4.
You, Oliver, you sort of step towards this hole in the ground. And you, again, there's that just sort of dirty glass around you perpetually. You can never quite touch it, but it's always there, keeping you away. And you sort of quiet your mind as your shadow is completely whispering in your ear, like, find the tower, find the tower, find the tower. And you concentrate long enough to see partially through into the Meatlands, and the tower's not there. There are police signs, cautionary tape, a large trailer with FBI stamped on the side of it. But the tower really is gone.
I need a minute, please. I'm going to kind of just walk towards where the hole is and kind of just feel around looking for any remnant of anything, both in this world and the previous one.
I think you've lost it, Josephine.
I believe Marguerite's shadow has something to say.
You'd better go help him, dear. All alone. He could use your assistance.
How? What would I do? What would I be able to do?
Surely you can think of some way to comfort someone that lost.
I don't understand what you're saying.
He needs you here.
Well, we all need each other.
That's not true at all. You have so little to offer.
That's not true.
Yes,
You saw
dear.
earlier there was an older woman who tried to bribe us out of this, and I hold a certain place even in this land, and I was able to get information even though she was trying to bribe us, and so I do hold some weight here.
Do you really think that was you?
Yes.
Come now. Marguerite, I've kept you alive this long. Surely you can think of some way to make this more entertaining for me. We are stuck here for eternity. Earn his trust,
Entertainment.
then break him. It's what you're good at.
I don't understand what you mean.
And Oliver's shadow.
Remember, you, and only you, can do this. They can't help you.
Kind of picking through like little bits of anything rubble that's left.
They can't help you at all. You have only ever succeeded because you worked at it alone. Remember that.
Oliver, as you stand there looking down into the hole, trying to figure this out, it's like, it was a 40-story building. Like, fucking 40-story buildings don't just, like, it's, what? Down in the darkness, a pair of red eyes open and look right at you. So predictable. What you will do. Jump in, boy. I'll take you to your tower. I'll take you anywhere you want.
How far away is this?
Down in the hole. Again, it's inky black dark, so it's difficult to say. Is it 10 feet? Is it 40 feet? Like, it's just there's red eyes looking at you.
I don't fully understand how this world works yet, but I think you need to work on your presentation a little. I mean, you know, this is a little... What idiot would jump into a potentially bottomless pit?
When you say that, you hear the muffled clap of gloved hands. Standing in the street, in the middle of the road, as spectral taxi cabs drive past, is a person that none of you realized was there mere moments before. They are dressed head to toe in black. Although they are completely gloved and have no exposed skin whatsoever, you can tell the curves of a feminine form in long golden blonde hair hangs down their shoulders, and on their face there is a white onyx mask. It is completely white with just the hint of a mouth engraved on it and circular eyes, their eye holes, that inside you can see two very blue eyes looking at you. It is you, Oliver. What an astonishing coincidence. You would think that nothing would fool me by now, and yet, when my previous servant so cruelly dispatched, and she turns and looks right at you, Cornelia, sent your face back to me, I had to come and look in person. It required no small effort, and yet it is you here, dead.
Yeah, I've gotten that a lot today. Am I at some point going to learn how to appear out of thin air and talk to people? Because that's been happening to me a lot today, too.
Oh, I assure you, there was nothing thin out of the air that I've had to transverse to arrive here. Oh, look at what a colorful band of associates. That one. Very dangerous. Don't turn your back on her. Two adorable children, and look at this vision. Oh, sorry, you must be confused. And she pulls the mask off, and underneath you see a face of a very young woman. She might have been 25 at one point. She's very clearly dead. Her cheeks are sunken in, her skin is pale, and she is gaunt. Even to a casual observer, like anyone would know, she is a walking corpse. But it is a face you know, Oliver. Her name is Carly Emerson. Her father was a very influential investment banker. That's how you met her. His firm handled a lot of your dealings before he was pulled down in that Thorn scandal you heard. Some Thorn guy, the feds came for him. Difficult to say. But in the midst of all of that, Carly disappeared. Some people thought, maybe something happened to her. It wasn't like her not to be on Instagram. But then other people were like, she's probably in fucking Bali finding herself trying to write a follow-up to Eat, Pray, Love or some shit like that. And you're a busy man. Like, you know, you're going to call her eventually. But here she's standing before you.
Carly, you're looking good.
Ever the charmer. I know what I look like, and I'm not strictly Carly anymore, although I guess you are probably not strictly Oliver anymore. Oh, is there some like mean voice, like fucking you're a mean one, Mr. Grinch, but like always saying like super devastating true things to you?
I'm sure you have no idea what she's talking about. We're friends, you and I.
What if there was?
Yes, well, it's quite different for me. Less ennui and existential dread and just a lot more hunger. And when she says that, her lips curl back and you see two very pointed fangs in her mouth.
Okay, well, sure. Why wouldn't vampires be real? I thought you'd be a little more less dead looking, though.
I assure you, there are some that can very casually pass, but she just sort of like shakes the mask in front of you and she says, "That's why I rock this thing now." At the risk of telling you a little bit too much of how the sausage was made, Carly here is dead. I'm something else. but I won't overly burden with you. Believe it or not, I wasn't here for you. I'm here for her. And she points right at you, Marguerite.
And what do you need with her?
Business have you?
Ooh. Even when you talk, it's like sunshine dipped in honey. No, not sunshine. Sunshine's fucking awful now. It's like chocolate. It's like love. It's like fucking sex. I love it. You have something, and I want it. And because once I get it, I have you. And she snaps her finger, and out of the hole ascends another specter. It is not the first one. You're clear when you look at it. It is a misshapen thing that looks like a man that probably spent his life engaged in violence. There is a vaguely human face of a broken nose and a cauliflower ear and a fat busted lip, still in sort of a swirling mass. Can I hurt them yet?
Kill them. Obliterate them.
Oliver, I wasn't everything for a reason person, although I must admit to you, I have no idea what the reason for this would be. My dad made some bad deals, and I end up a fucking flesh vessel for a monster. But I'm not unsympathetic to your plight now. You don't know what happened to you, do you?
I would love to know. Yeah.
She turns and she starts walking right towards you, Marguerite, looking at you like, such wonders. I could work with you, with someone of your skill. At my beck and call, no one could resist me.
I'm at no one's beck and call.
Yet. And I believe Marguerite's Beast wanted to say something.
She knows. She knows what's underneath. What you really are. A monster.
You're wrong. You're wrong. I've done everything right in my life.
Your life is over, dear.
Told me.
Your life is over. And you didn't do everything right, or I wouldn't be here. It's that simple.
I have lived every moment of my life for someone else, for someone else's expectations. I've done everything right.
Why do it any differently in the afterlife, dear? It could be fun.
It's talking to you, isn't it? I'm sure it's saying all manner of terrible things. And she very slowly reaches out like she's going to touch your hair.
Carly? I don't know what...
Must tell you, I never thought I would hear that name again, especially not here of all places. But yes, Oliver.
I don't know what you're here for, what your business is, but you know what? I know you were a, well, sophisticated, to say the least. Why don't we all take this somewhere a little more relaxed? We can talk this over, figure this out.
You should kill him before he ruins this opportunity for you, dear.
Oliver, if you are concerned about witnesses, I assure you, we won't have any. And she turns and she extends her hand. You don't see her do anything other than turn and reach across the street And all of the ambient wraiths that are stopping and going about their day all literally stop and turn their back on you, like they're just not watching. And she says, see? Privacy. This is comedic in a borderline Shakespearean sense, I must admit. I would have felt quite the foolish girl even saying this to you, if not for the testimony of your own eyes of the state you find yourself in. I myself was not so different from you, not so different from all of you. And yet I found my way back to the land of the living after a fashion. And I am prepared to negotiate. You, little boy.
Me?
She leans down and she says, you are a proper young gentleman, aren't you?
I surely am.
Your sister probably thinks she's smarter than you, doesn't she?
I wouldn't know what she thinks.
Can I hear this?
Oh yeah, no, she's super saying this, like right in front of you. Like she leans down like she's talking to him, but she's making no attempt to hide this from you.
No, we're best friends.
Best friends. Is that true, young miss? I don't think you can be best friends after having spent your whole life, and dare I say your entire unlife, watching people trip and stumble over him and treat him like he's better than you just because of the manhood dangling between his legs. That doesn't seem fair, does it?
We work together, and we know who is better at everything.
Yes, we do. It's always been him. The proper heir to your family's fortune. Nothing left for you. Just hoping to marry you off, leaving you nothing.
Joseph?
Yes?
Don't make me put you in your place.
Oh, such a terrible threat.
What do you mean? What are you talking about? Don't be strange, Joey. Don't try and show off for the strangers.
Is that all you got?
What are you
Now is a
trying
good
to do?
time. Joseph, now is a good time.
No, I don't need to kill my sister.
No, but you can put her in her place. Look how she talks down to you. Do you deserve that
we're
or
best
not?
friends. She's playing a game.
Do
with
you
this new
deserve it or
stranger.
not?
Of course I deserve it. Daddy always told me I deserved it.
You deserve to be talked down to and treated like a weakling.
No, I deserve everything I got.
Oh,
And I was going to inherit the whole fortune.
I don't see the fortune anywhere, Joseph. What I see is you surrounded by strangers who think you're a pathetic, weak child. Show them different.
Cornelia, you see this woman who very much leaned down in front of them as they're beginning to bicker and squabble. There is a smile coming across her lips as she watches the two of them just at odds with each other.
Would you two children pay attention to what's going on around you? Can't you see that this is the point?
What exactly is the point? I don't see it.
Peasants? I assure you, adjusted for inflation, I had significant lands and holdings, and Oliver could have bought and sold your entire family many times over. If she reaches out like she's going to kind of run her hands down your lapels, if you let her.
Is she a being into which a ghost could potentially put themselves?
Give me your wit and occult.
That came out dirty.
He said it
Phrasing.
made
Just saying.
made
I said
weirder
what I
by the
said.
fact that he's 112 years old or whatever he would be now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I have 0 successes.
Do you try?
To Skin Rider? Dirty.
Giggity.
To what?
I mean, if you have 0 successes, you definitely try. So if she touches you and you attempt, she just goes, "Oh, young man," and does slap you. Because
Miss.
consent is sexy, you horrible little boy. But you have helped me figure out something important. I know the two of you, and I know what you want. She leans down and she whispers something in your ear, Joseph, that I am going to send you via direct message. She whispers it and she pulls back and stops mere inches from your face. And this close to her, you can see just how pale she is in the veins semi-transparent through her once very beautiful face.
What?
Wouldn't that be capital?
What? What did she say?
Oh, your sister's about to start bossing you around. You're the man of the family, aren't you, Joseph?
Don't listen
That's
to
right.
her. Just tell me what she said.
No, Joey, this is you've bossed me around too much. They're right. I am the man, and you stop it. You stop talking to me that way.
Once again being left out. How tragic.
Carly, what is your business here? Why are you wasting our time?
Oh, one thing we have in common now is that we have all the time in the world. I told you I was here for her. And I have simply run into you. But now that the board is set with a very different set of pieces, I will go about this differently. You, and she does point at you, Cornelia, will have to explain to me how it is that you eradicated my servant. I have never seen such a thing.
I don't see how I owe you any explanation.
Perhaps I have come across overly hostile. I apologize. Normally, in the presence of such an unruly spirit, I would have already bound you to a handkerchief or a pocket watch. But I see now that you are a woman worthy of greater respect. Here is what I am prepared to do.
Show her. Obliterate her.
Make your case.
Oliver, my dear boy, there are so few opportunities for second chances. And I would hope that there is enough of Oliver left in you and perhaps enough of Carly left in me that we might find some comfort in eternity.
Can Emily, I'm gonna let you finish.
The shadow is like,
Can I would like to use one of my intimation powers I have. Unfold the animal heart. I spend 2 pathos, roll my wits plus intimation. 1 success reveals the target's name. Each additional reveals one of their passions. Does this apply? Do I know if this will apply to such a creature? I mean, I guess I don't know shit, but
yeah, I'm going to say yes. Again, falling back on the other things where it's like mortals are defenseless, but supernaturals can resist it. Yes.
Okay.
You absolutely could give it a shot. And yes, Shadow.
Do you see what she's proposing? Do you see how she wants to drag you away from your goals? You can't just act like you did before. She's not going to let you just fuck her and leave her behind. She wants eternity, and you don't have that to give her.
And what do you propose we do about it?
I propose you pull her in close, take off that mask, get her nice and hot for you, and then you fucking shove her to the ground. You must feel some power welling up inside you, right? You've seen it. You saw what that Cornelia could do. I know you wanted to try. All it takes is a little willpower. Literally. Give it a try.
Yes, Cornelia, I believe you were posing a question also.
Yes. So, with my unique gifts for lying my ass off and playing a lady, do I recognize this for the sham that it is?
Well, hang on. Let me double check the names of the skills here because they have changed slightly from edition to edition. Do you have any empathy, ma'am?
I have 1 point in empathy, but I've got two in expression, 4 in subterfuge, 3 in performance, and 3 in etiquette. So I'd like to think that I could pick up on a couple cues.
I would say a con knows a con. Give me your manipulation plus subterfuge.
Oh, those are both things I'm good at.
I'd love. Do you have any empathy, ma'am?
No.
Yeah.
Enough to recognize I don't want any more of it.
What was that? Your success in your discovering her passion. Does she have is there a defense roll?
It doesn't say that there is, but I don't know if this is intended to be used against whatever this is that I'm using it against.
Here, let me,
it says essentially reveal stuff. Says if it's turn. Yeah, it has something. There's a thing if they're controlled by the shadow, but obviously she is not.
You got how many successes?
4.
I just kind of giving her a general defense.
Sure.
You can know. I will say you can know one thing. And but how does this power again? I apologize.
Basically,
it reveals something. You know something, and is it a question that you ask, or you just know something about her?
I would know something about her. It says I would know one success would be like her nature, and then the additional ones would be like more specific passions or like whatever. That seems to be the indication.
I will give you 2 things about her.
Okay.
Which is weird because Oliver, this doesn't make any sense. Like you're just kind of like reading her, and it's like when you would play poker, but you somehow comprehend things about her that don't quite make sense. She somehow, in a way of knowledge that you now possess and don't know what the fuck to do with, is both a wraith like you and a vampire at the same time, of dual nature that somehow is fused. You also know she is not lying about wanting to help you. In fact, you don't detect that she's lied to you about anything yet. And do recall, she said she's here for Marguerite.
Okay. Was I picking up the vibe that she's into me, or?
Oh, she's super into you.
Oh, okay, cool.
No, she's super into you.
I was just leaning into what my shadow was saying. I'm thinking about it now.
Can I use my honeyed tongue to as Ollie's shadow?
You gain 2 temporary angst, Emily. Sorry, I missed that part. The solicitor's shadow gains 2, so you have 2 extra right now.
Great. Thank you. May I, storyteller, use honey tongue to literally convince Ollie to do what I've just instructed him to do?
Your honeyed tongue doesn't work on him. You make him do it to someone else.
It to talk to other people. Okay.
You know, let me double check the power, because again, that is kind of the whole point of the shadow is you.
It's on someone else.
Yep, it is on. Yeah, although you can make him. Hang on, let me see here. Yeah, the shadow can make any one sentence strangely compelling and believable. No, you do it on him. It's on him. Honeyed tongue is on him. Yeah, you super do it to convince him.
Does the shadow know the things that I know, like just learned about?
No, the shadow is you. Yeah,
just making sure.
Aware of all of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then the target is the wraith?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay, I used it wrong earlier. Sorry.
Yeah, the shadow is almost preternaturally persuasive, and it can turn on its charm when it chooses to. The shadow can make one sentence strangely compelling. This covers everything. Some examples. A wraith can spend a willpower to counteract the effects of this thorn. Honeyed tongue can only be used once per scene. No, this is on them. Yep. You know, it does say the difficulty is the target's manipulation and subterfuge versus a wraith. So here is how I think it works specifically. Normally, when you're just talking to him, you can use it on him under the circumstances, and there are specific circumstances that you can talk through him, then you can talk to someone else. So I think it's both. I think you can use it to kind of fuck with him indefinitely in the circumstances in which you can actually take over his mind and make him take over his body and say what you want to say, then you can do it to someone else. So is your goal to compel him to listen to you?
Yeah.
That's such joy in that face, Emily. So it is, you spend a point of angst. What is your manipulation plus subterfuge, Oliver?
And I can spend a willpower just to avoid all this, right? You said manipulation plus willpower?
That's the target.
Wait, where is willpower? Oh, down there, 5. Okay, 7.
That's an odd pool. That is an odd pool. Manipulation plus willpower. Oh, yeah. Subterfuge. Sorry. No, I said the wrong thing. Manipulation plus subterfuge.
Manipulation plus subterfuge.
I was like, that didn't make any sense. Because it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. Then 2. So I might be burning a willpower for this one.
It's for the sake of ease, are you going to spend the willpower? What does the shadow say to him?
That's what I was going to say. I want to hear what she's going to say first.
Countering the willpower. But what does the shadow try to say to him?
I specifically wanted to honey up my request that he try to attack her.
How? What do you say to him, Shadow?
Oh, I can't apply it to what I said before. You know,
I just want to hear you do it, Emily.
Okay, great. Sure. Hold on. Where's my? That's right. You felt the itch in your hand before. Pull her in. Get her nice and ready. Fucking obliterate her. Not the way she wants you to. In the way that makes sure she's not your problem. You can get past this. You can destroy her.
I'm gonna...
It makes total sense that you're just like, yeah, I could just push her in this hole. It's not even Carly. She's dead. I know she's dead. There's literally a precipitous drop. There's this other angry specter thing, but hey, Claudia vaporized the last one. I mean, she probably can handle this. It just would just take a little push, Oliver. It would just take a little push.
I'm gonna start stepping my way over to her. Carly.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm gonna start to lift my hand. And then I'm gonna spend my willpower to fucking not do that. Why don't we talk? And I'm gonna extend my hand in a very human gesture to shake her hand.
She looks down at it and she takes your hand and she kind of holds it in both hands and she says, I want to help you, Oliver. I want to help you find your tower. I want to help you. And she turns and looks at you, Cornelia, and she says, help you find revenge. I will even help these delightful children find the fucking Titanic. It's still on the waves. Did you know that your vessel still sails without you? And the only thing that I ask in return, this one tiny thing, is that the four of you give her to me forever. And looks right at you, Marguerite. And that's a good place for us to stop.
I had 6 successes. I should have been able to see through time.
You know what? I'm going to give you your 6 successes. This is 6 successes on what? What is it that you're looking for?
It was the roll to see if I can tell that she's a fucking con person.
She's not lying. She is prepared to deliver the tower and deliver the Titanic and wants Marguerite. She has not said a false thing to you yet.
Sorry, Marguerite.
Y'all, the opera glasses came out. This was juicy. Oh my.
Yep. So, yeah. Yo, ugh. This needs 6 seasons in a movie. When you said she's just a whore with a... When you said she's just a slut with a trinket, I was like, God damn.
You cringe.
Oh.
I literally clutched the pearls.
That is the hardest part.
Offending my delicate sensibilities.
I just try and look away because I don't want to mess up you guys' moment, but I'm just like, oh, shit.
Okay, can we also take a moment to appreciate that independently, and I don't think it was on purpose, both you and Justice said the wrong name for Cornelia.
I did it on purpose every time.
Okay.
I called you Claudia at one point.
It's appropriate.
Also, when I was like, yay, you get a happy moment, Justice, you being like, but you don't, though. I was like, yo, okay. Well, hey, let's go around. We'll go in the reverse order this time of where you normally delightful people are that apparently are bottling it up to like just unleash Fridays at 5:30.
Episodes. How much more terrible can we be?
Oh,
to each
just
other? Diana's like, hold my drink. Just like,
especially when she's all like, hey, check this out. I'll give you all everything you ever wanted. Just let me have her. Watch till you see what your friends do next.
Friends.
Yep.
just remember who took care of y'all.
I've said repeatedly.
It was lovely to meet you, Marguerite. Bye.
Not all of you. We were never friends.
Also, I would like the record to show. I checked. Canonically, the Titanic exists in Wraith. It sails the seas. It does still exist. It is on the seas of the Tempest. Yep.
Mommy and Daddy.
Yay! Reunited, and it feels so good.
Marguerite, they will betray you. I just want you to know that.
I will have my revenge. I will have my revenge.
Start with
That's
you.
how we'll get her to murder people. There we go. Easy, done.
Also, yeah. Diana. Wow. Yes, please, Diana.
Yeah, I'm a little broken right now. I don't have good words, but I'm Diana D'Amico. I've been your bitchy pilgrim this evening. Usually, just follow me on Twitter at D'Amico Diana, and you can see all the other stuff I do there. I can't right now.
Y'all. I pride myself on my cruelty and the things you all say to each other and do to each other. It's just like, again, Justice taking that one thing from her. Oh, God. Making her look all hideous in the planchette. Just so like, yeah, Emily. Yes, Emily.
Hi, I am Emily. You can find me on social medias at Emily the Spoon, because I'm a cheerful, delightful person.
You are normally. When you were like, let go of the hand, I was like, Justice.
Oh yeah. Hey, I'm one half of the team over at Bard and Barbarian for now.
Hey, the ring came back on. It's fine. Yeah.
And
she's gonna like turn and yeet that thing like
you can find me on the socials at Stashmandu and around on various other Twitch channels here and there. And this game is just also bardandbarbarian.com.
Is the Christmas thing still going on? Let's say something positive.
We're giving out free presents with everything because I bought a bunch of stuff.
Buy things and get presents. You know, support small businesses. Get presents. Be not awful to each other.
Let us do that for you.
Yes, please. Outsource your awfulness to us.
Hey, everybody. My name is Mason Dula. I'm on this channel on Fridays right now. You can find me on Bard and Barbarian every other Thursday right now, and whenever Diana and Justice will have me. And then you can also find me here, WizardX TV on Twitch, where I DM and play in all sorts of other fun games. And this was a blast tonight. You guys are all terrible and amazing, and I love you.
And last but certainly not least, Nora.
What's up, y'all? Hope you have your therapist on speed dial after this. I'm Nora Ibrahim. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. You could find me at Noralogical on Instagram and Twitter. You can find me Monday nights on Realmsmith for season 2 of Wildmount. You can find me with Damsels and Dice. You can find me on Wednesday nights for Denver by Night here on QueueTimes. And I'm also in a Call of Cthulhu game called Carnaby Street Case Files. That's once a month, and a bunch of other things. But just, if you follow me on socials, I will give you updates as they happen, because I'm usually doing something every night of the week, usually. And let's give a shout out to the only good thing of the night, Lima Bean.
Lima Bean. Shout out to Lima Bean.
Lima Bean, the only saving grace of amongst these terrible, terrible people.
Wraith is so messed up, y'all. Wraith is so messed up. B. Dave Walters, I say words about things. I'm less busy than I was recently, but I'm still very busy. Tomorrow, Baron Victor Temple returns for World Builders. I will be playing at noon. Playing the Baron again on Patrick Rothfuss channel. Then tomorrow at 5, I will be with Josephine and Alex and Sin and Xander. Basically, I'm playing with all of the cast of LA by Night, but broken into pieces, helping with their Indiegogo for Eclipse tomorrow night. There's a lot of other things, but I'm literally just fucking stunned by all of you guys. I'm just like going through my mind. Just follow me on Twitter at BDaveWalters. There's more things. I'm sure the moment we get off, I'm going to be like, oh, I didn't mention blah, but I'm just playing on repeat.
There's a thing tomorrow, if I can mention it, because I forgot to mention it.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, me and Josephine from LA by Night are going to be we're going to play Inquisition members for Vampires of Pittsburgh. That's going to be on Stream of Blood on the Twitch channel. And that's going to be tomorrow at 2 p.m. Pacific. So that's going to be a fun...
Are you sure? Because she's with me at 5 and she's got her own thing. Are you sure that's tomorrow?
Y'all, the tweet went out. It's tomorrow, Sunday.
I'm pretty sure she's doing literally her thing tomorrow.
Yes, it's Sunday at 2 p.m. Sorry, my brain is just all discombobulated after
this game
after being berated for like 3 hours.
Again, I reject linear time and all the other lies of the before times. Y'all be nicer to each other than the shadows are to these wraiths. And the episode 1's up on YouTube. This will be soon. Tell your friends. There's 2 more weeks left, and I have no idea what this dumpster fire is going to be. So And just for the record, for anybody curious, since it's not really there's no real way that you guys could know this, Carly is a Hakata, kindred that are possessed by wraiths. That is
Somebody
a thing.
called it in chat.
I knew that because I saw chat, though.
It is a thing. Yeah, it is a thing. So my patrons are quite familiar with Carly. They know exactly how she came to be in this state. But for now, it's a super happy fun time. All you got to do is turn her over to Marguerite, and all your dreams can come true.
Okay.
And with
Excuse me.
Game over. Beginning of episode 3.
I just appreciate Marguerite. You're like, I was saying boo earns.
I'm saying boo earns.
And with that, thank you all so much, and we'll see you next week. Thank you, QueueTimes.